On the morning of November 27, 1987, a vicious criminal, Barry Watts, 34, secretly confided in his wife, Valmay Beck, that today is the day and that she would be the first and last sexual partner of a virgin girl. Watts had confessed his dark fantasies to his wife in the weeks before the attack, and Valmay had eagerly agreed to help him. Desperate for her husband's consent, Valmay, 44, a mother of 6, had promised to be his first and last. Watts's plan was to abduct the perfect victim from the street and rape and kill her. In order to carry out this heinous plan, he needed the assistance of a woman to gain the girl's trust and to lure her into his trap. The couple drove around for hours looking for the ideal victim, until they spotted a 12-year-old blonde schoolgirl, still in her uniform, riding a bicycle. On a Friday afternoon, after finishing school, Sian Kingi said goodbye to her friends and jumped on her yellow bike. She was looking forward to another exciting weekend in her Sunshine Coast hometown of Noosa. Sian's mom, Linda, had agreed to meet her after school so they could go shopping for fabric for her daughter's new dress. Linda and Sian found fabric and finished shopping at the Noosa Fair Shopping Center at around 4:30 before heading home. Linda drove the car while Sian cycled her beloved yellow bike to their home, which is only 1 kilometer from the shopping center. Even though they both took different paths home, Sian was expected to arrive home within minutes of her friend. Sian's route took her through Pinaroo Park in Noosa. When Sian didn't arrive home shortly after her friend, Linda assumed she had met up with friends and was just hanging out. However, as the day progressed and there was no sign of Sian, she began to worry. Linda called Sian's friends, but no luck. Sian's father, Barry Kingi, came home from work at around 8 p.m. and immediately began the search for his missing daughter. They decided to retrace their daughter's journey home from the shopping center. They turned on their car's headlight and found Sian's yellow bicycle lying on the grass. At this point, Sian's parents knew something was wrong. Sian was a loving child, so they loaded Sian's bicycle into their vehicle and immediately called the Noosa police. Everyone who knew Sian loved her. She was happy, kind, innocent, and, above all, gentle. Unfortunately, those qualities made her an easy mark. Sian was riding her bike in the park, on her way home from school, when a woman called out to her dog. Sian, who loves animals, stopped to help the woman, who was looking for her white poodle with a pink bow. Barry Watts sneaks up behind 12-year-old Sian and grabs her, then tosses her in his station wagon, covering her hands and mouth with tape as they drive 12M to a secluded spot in the middle of the forest, where they repeatedly rape Sian, then dump her remains and go home to spend the rest of the evening on their couch watching TV. On the morning of the 6th day of Sian's murder, she was found still wearing her school uniform from Sunshine Beach. Her underwear was cut off and found nearby, as well as her green school bag. Sian was stabbed 12 times, including 2 deep lacerations to her neck, before being strangled to death. Upon learning that Sian's remains had been discovered, Beck and Watts quickly fled south to the city of the Entrance in New South Wales. This was not the first time the couple had been involved in a crime, having attempted to abduct a number of young women in the weeks prior to the attack. Bob Atkinson, the former police commissioner of Queensland, was instrumental in the hunt for the killers, and it only took a few days for him and his colleagues to identify them. In a private conversation between the two, Barry Watts stated that he would like to do it again, indicating that he was a highly determined, ruthless, and cunning individual who was unlikely to show any remorse. It would later become evident that Watts was a psychologically deranged individual who relished his murderous activities. Valmay Beck admitted to abducting and raping Sian Kingi, but denied the murder. She was sentenced to life imprisonment in October 1988, after being extradited from NSW just days before Sian's 13th birthday. During her first court appearance, Mrs. Beck was pelted with stones by angry locals, and many called for the death penalty to be reintroduced. She gave a detailed statement about the crime, saying Sian was a brave little girl who never cried, did not shed a tear, and simply did what she was told. Judge Jack Kelly described Mrs. Beck as callous and delicate and said no decent person can condone what you have done, a woman with her own children. Barry Watts was found not guilty on all charges, but was sentenced to life imprisonment in December 1990 by Justice Kelly. He was ordered not to be released from prison for life and to be released on parole only if he was at an age where he would not be a danger to young girls. 10 years later, Barry Watts confessed to Sian Kingi's rape, torture, and murder. In May 2008, Valmae Beck, known as Faye Cram at the time of her death, died in hospital after being transferred from the Townsville Correctional Center, Queensland. She had been admitted to hospital with shortness of breath and underwent heart surgery. She was placed in a coma but never fully woke up before she died. The proposed amendment, referred to as Sian's Law, empowers the chairperson of the Queensland Parole Board to issue a declaration whereby a person found guilty of the murder of a child or multiple murders will be precluded from obtaining parole for a period of up to 10 years from the date of their eligibility. Multiple declarations may be issued against the same individual.